Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump just made the Republican Party about $2.9 billion in the past year. Here's the logic. They raised $2.9 billion, or I should say, he found $2.9 billion in debt that Democrats wasted. So Democrats raised with Biden. They had two nominees at one point. They had the initial nominee in Biden, and hit subscribe to this channel right now, and then they had Harris. Trump brought that up today. If you look at the New York Times, the Democrats, their allied super PACs, and other groups raised about $2.9 billion versus $1.8 billion for President Trump. They outraised Trump by a tremendous margin and still lost in a catastrophic manner politically. The interesting thing is the DNC, Democrats love unions except their own political union. DNC let go of staff with no severance. They let go of staff with no severance. They raised $2.9 billion. They lost in what is a modern-day political landslide. Here's the interesting thing. $1.5 billion, this is the New York Times, how Kamala Harris burned through $1.5 billion in 15 weeks. But they raised $2.9 billion, so Biden wasted about $1.4. If the absolutely maniacal Democratic Party, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat accounting is not exactly right, I apologize. You'll hear the millions in debt they're in at the moment. But this is like basically finding $2.9 billion. So Democrats don't have, politically, Democrats don't have USAID to funnel money to non-governmental organizations. They don't have Colbert. Late night is in complete turmoil, though Jimmy Kimmel probably won't be on the air in the next year and a half or so. That free political advertising they had every single night, 24/7, every single night, I should say, for years, for a decade now. That's billions in free political contributions through late night hysteria over Trump. They don't have that. They don't have USAID. They don't have a whole bunch of tax dollars going into government agencies that somehow, some way funnel money to liberal causes or political action committees or non-governmental organizations that the money finds its way back to candidates, Democratic Party candidates. So they don't have that. They don't have late night, free political advertising, and they don't have the $2.9 billion that they raised. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. Trump basically, essentially, found, or politically, in a political sense, he basically found $2.9 billion. Hit subscribe, check this out.
Major money problems for the Harris-Walz campaign, which is now at odds with the DNC over its reported $20 million debt.
FEC filings also show the campaign blew through more than $1 billion in just 3 months on things like celebrity events, consultants, and those always tricky private jets. Yeah. Allison Nguyen is a former Obama fundraiser and a Silicon Valley tech pioneer. She joins us now. Allison, a Harris aide telling Axios, quote, "How do you raise an historic amount of money and not win a single swing state?" The honest answer is, I don't know. It seems we lost the national narrative, and that's what we need to diagnose. So, Allison, as a former Democrat fundraiser yourself, what insight can you provide into how they blew through all this money with nothing, absolutely nothing to show for it?
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Carly. Well, I think the Harris campaign is really out of touch. Even my 3 teenage kids told me that brat girl summer is over. So why are you spending millions of dollars on Megan Thee Stallion twerking, Lizzo, Eminem, J-Lo, Usher? Some of these are associates of P. Diddy. He is really not okay right now. So why do you want this type of affiliation?
The reason Democrats want that affiliation is the following. Trump ran on enforcing immigration laws. Trump ran on building the middle class through tariffs, bringing manufacturing back to the country, and never sending, and no new cataclysmic wars, no counterinsurgency wars and conflicts, never sending Americans to endless military conflict. Those three things, foreign policy, domestic policy, and economic policy, okay? Three major platforms, issues, three tenets, three pillars of Make America Great Again. When liberal Democrats, and I love Stevie Wonder, so let's just continue here. Let's just continue. We'll get to exactly why they lost in a second.
Right now, we really have to be very mindful, very demure. Not like that Donald Trump is demure, but he actually went on Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan. He talked for hours, and you really got to know his personality. He really cares and is curious about what's going on with the American people and the youth. I really enjoyed his podcast with Theo Vaughn, where he actually flipped the script and started asking Theo Vaughn why he was addicted to, I believe, cocaine and fentanyl. And that's an issue that we're all going through right now. Not us personally, but many of our youth, many of our American citizens who are homeless are in San Francisco, LA, facing addiction problems.
It's a great point. And the DNC sent us a statement saying the campaign did not pay for endorsements. Any and all costs related to celebrities were towards production and relevant logistical costs. So that's their statement. Doesn't make up for the fact that there are significant money problems that they have right now. And I was reading that the Harris campaign reportedly was
the DNC, of course, paid for endorsements. That is that public relations statement from the political party makes no sense.
expecting the election results to be delayed. So if it took a week to determine who the next president was, they could use that time for people to keep on giving them money, continue to fundraise. But that didn't happen. Donald Trump, he was announced the winner at 2 o'clock the next morning. So all the fundraising stopped, and now they're in this huge money issue. So they are $20 million in debt, Allison. As somebody who's in this world, knows a lot about donors and fundraising, how much of a challenge will that $20 million in debt be for Democrats come 2026 for their midterm reelection campaigns?
Well, I think they have a real come to Jesus moment. They need to, some of the leaders have to step up with the vision and communicate and connect with these types of new voters who want answers.
And that is true, but the problem, however, is the following. The Democratic Party doesn't stand for anything at the moment, okay? There is no signature like Green New Deal. That was a resolution. So they're not focused on, and Biden flooded the country full of strategic petroleum reserves, okay? Not part of the Green New Deal, okay? AOC never brought up the Green New Deal resolution in 2024. They run away from their alleged value system because they know that their value system is not popular nationwide, nor does it coincide with economic growth. So, for example, they're not running on a Green New Deal. They're not running on erasing or reforming or amending any law or statute pertaining to deporting an undocumented immigrant who committed a crime. Okay, so Democrats want to create hysteria and outrage and indignation and emotion, but when it comes to, changing the law, which they can do in Congress, if they want to keep any person, if they want to defund ICE, they can do so tomorrow. They don't have the House, but they can run on that. Not in a million years would Democrats want to defund ICE. They want to create as much paranoia and hysteria. They're into creating a zeitgeist. They're not into actually enforcing existing laws. And if they don't like the laws, they can amend them or run on defunding ICE. They don't want to do that. The point is they don't stand for anything in particular. President Trump stands for enforcing immigration laws. He stands for bringing back manufacturing jobs. He stands for never allowing Americans to be sent to never-ending military conflict. That doesn't mean he's not going to engage in the typical behavior of an American president. He's not a pacifist, okay? But he's a million times better in terms of foreign policy. He's the anti-war choice when it comes to the never-Trump Republicans and the current Democratic Party. Trump stands for those three things and more. Democrats, you can't find three things they actually stand for, okay? You see these governors getting ready for 2028. They're backtracking on all their alleged value system. So Democrats don't stand for anything in particular, which is going to be very difficult to raise another $2.9 billion. See, they didn't just lose $1.5 billion in 15 weeks. They lost $2.9 billion. They had two nominees. That's another thing. They don't even have a functioning primary. They just cheat all the time. They cheat themselves before they do everyone else dirty. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'll be back every single day. Live streams in August. I've been doing some really great things, thank God, focused on some great things, and the channel is going to grow big time in August and throughout the year with your help, God willing. Thank you so much, everybody. See you tomorrow for the live stream.